This harmless-looking guy with a black belt in Taekwondo. Would you believe he actually strangled his own mother to death and buried her body in the wild? By day, he's a police academy, hopeful, but by night, he turns into a monster committing the terrible crime of matricide. He even drags his two brothers into it and stages a ridiculous thief crying, "Stop thief" act. The main character is Gail, a successful architect. After a failed marriage, she raises her son, Greg, alone as a single mom. Gail gives her all. She not only attends Greg's baseball games, but even takes up Taekwondo herself to encourage him. Both mother and son earn black belts, but teenage Greg becomes more and more rebellious. He thinks his mom is too strict. Especially after she starts dating Daniel, their relationship hits rock bottom. Greg starts hanging out with troublemakers at school, smoking and street racing, breaking Gail's heart. On October 28, 2018, Daniel is away on a business trip, leaving just Gail and Greg at home. But he doesn't know a long-planned tragedy is about to happen while he's away. On the afternoon of November 2nd, 15-year-old Greg panics and calls the police. He says he came home from school and found the house robbed clean. His mother, Gail, is also missing. Officer Lindsay and Detective Martin arrive quickly. As they enter, they're shocked by what they see. The whole house is turned upside down. Clothes and stuff are everywhere. Drawers and cabinets stand open. It looks worse than after a storm. Experienced Officer Lindsay feels something's wrong. Most thieves work fast and only take valuable things. They wouldn't waste time trashing the whole house. This extreme mess looks more like someone faked a robbery. Police find Gail's car outside. The engine is still running, but she's nowhere to be found. Greg tells the police his mom usually drives him to school in the morning, then takes the train to work, but today she didn't go to work and has disappeared. During the initial questioning, police learn from neighbors that Greg and his friends have a very bad reputation. They often race cars. Nearby neighbors have even called the police on them before. Since Greg is the only one who reported the incident, and there are many suspicious details, he is taken to the station for further questioning. In the interrogation room, the police use the classic good cop, bad cop strategy. Detective Johnson, a familiar face, starts with a friendly approach. He tries to get close to Greg. However, Greg avoids giving clear answers to key questions. For example, when asked about the friend he fought with, he stumbles and can't say the full name. When the experienced Detective Liari takes over, the mood quickly becomes tense. Liari gets straight to the point. He directly calls out Greg's lies. School records show Greg left early, at 1:10 p.m. that day. This contradicts his claim of staying until dismissal. Faced with solid evidence, Greg still refuses to admit the truth. He insists the school made a mistake. His evasiveness makes the police even more suspicious. Meanwhile, another team of detectives finds Greg's stepsister Kelly. Kelly reveals Greg is very close with a classmate named Dylan at school. The police quickly focus their attention on this Dylan. Late that night, detectives knock on Dylan's door. At first, Dylan tries to lie his way out. He claims he only met Greg at noon. But when the detectives tell him Greg's story is full of holes and warn him about the serious consequences of lying, the 17-year-old finally breaks down. He glances at his grandparents beside him, takes a deep breath, and reveals a shocking secret. Dylan says, "Early this morning, Greg urgently called him and another friend, Brian. He said he was in big trouble. They drove to pick Greg up. As soon as he got in the car, Greg said in a shaky voice, 'I really did it. I killed my mom.' It turns out, after skipping school, the three of them drove back to the crime scene. Greg told Dylan and Brian to help fake a burglary. They kicked in the side door and messed up the house to make it look real. They loaded computers and printers into the car. Some were thrown into nearby trash bins, while others, including a rifle, they hide the rest in the bushes behind the church where their scout group often meets. Most importantly, Dylan reveals where Gail's body is buried, near a bonfire behind that same church. The police act immediately. One team finds the discarded computer, printer, and rifle near the trash bins in church. Another team brings tools. They start digging near the bonfire spot, Dylan pointed out. Soon after, under the dirt, they find Gail's lifeless body with solid evidence. The police question Brian again. He confesses everything. Now all evidence points to the 15-year-old boy. After nearly 10 hours of questioning, faced with his friend's betrayal and undeniable proof, Greg's mental defenses collapse completely. In a detached tone, he calmly admits everything. The night before the crime, he fought with his mom, Gail. After failing biology class, he claims she hit him, so he decides to fight back. Around midnight, he sneaks into her room and strangles her with his bare hands. But what's even more shocking, he thinks his mother has stopped breathing. When he goes to get a wheelbarrow to move the body, he finds Gail has only passed out. She is still moving. If he feels any regret at this moment, the tragedy might still be avoided. But this monster doesn't hesitate at all. He attacks her again with all his strength. He spends a full 30 minutes finishing this cruel crime. When telling this story, Greg shows no emotion. Even when taken to the crime scene, he laughs out loud. He describes in detail how he dug the hole, how he placed the body, and how he dragged it with a belt, as if telling someone else's story. His two troublemaker friends, handcuffed in the police car, are still laughing and singing. They don't realize how terrible their crimes are. In the end, the law gives its judgment. As the main criminal, 15-year-old Greg is tried. As an adult, he is sentenced to 45 years in prison. His two accomplices, Dylan and Brian, because they cooperated with the investigation, they get forgiveness from the victim's family. Finally, they get lighter sentences. In the courtroom, Greg's white-haired grandmother, who is also Gail's mother, holds back her sadness and doesn't blame her grandson. She quietly prays for him. She knows she may not live to see him leave prison. She can only hope that during his long time in jail, this lost soul will one day truly regret his crimes. A family full of hope is completely destroyed by a teenager's evil thoughts. All that remains is endless pain and sorrow.